Okay, we're back on the air, I guess. So, sorry if any of your questions were missed, but I guess the last topic was the Unabomber, which is kind of weird to start talking about and then have your browser crash, but hopefully it doesn't crash again when I bring up the word Ted Kaczynski. But anyways, let's I think that's right. But no, I mean honestly, I think you should just take control of like your technology. I actually understand how it works. Machines are there to help people. I mean, it's kind of what has contributed to the modern standard of living, and I much rather live now than in, I guess the 1700s before the Industrial Revolution. So, okay, now that topic's complete, hopefully I got the pronunciation on that right. Let me just double check. And before it crashes again. Okay. So, guitar Matt C says, welcome back and welcome back. Guitar Matt also says, I genuinely think tech makes a lot of people's lives worse with its ridiculous complexity and usage for exploitation perpetrated by geniuses. Well, I feel like personally, I would not agree with that, but that's, I mean, you're welcome to have your own opinions on things like that. But I guess if you're talking about the current international trade situation where China kind of has the near slave wages manufacturing deal going on, might have a point there, but I'm not quite sure they would be in much better shape before the Industrial Revolution. And if you combine that with all the stuff that was created by communism, there's a lot of other factors in that. Anyways, though, Jumper149 says, what are your favorite animes? I like Serial Experiments Lane, Haname Renmei, if I'm pronouncing that right. Those are pretty good. Guitar Matt, he says, think about normies. I don't generally. I feel like they're like one of the main contributors to having a very bloated, horrible network stack in the current day, which is making my CPU run at maximum speed right now. And it's still relatively unnavigatable, where I couldn't easily find the continue stream option, which should be a relatively easy to find button, but why not? I imagine you could do this so much easier if you just, I mean, I don't know, maybe I should use OBS or something like that instead of just the YouTube streaming browser sort of deal, but I'll probably investigate that in the future, not today. So, Guitar Matt C again says, just think about not understanding technology and where that person will be in 3 years. I think like if you're just talking about the average person, they're capable of understanding technology, and in the present day, most people have a very early introduction to technology. For example, I guess my elementary school had computers in the classroom. They had a computer lab and a single computer for the teacher. But I mean, they taught typing and stuff like that. I mean, I was learning programming and stuff around that time, but I feel like as time goes on, I guess technology's can't really get rid of it, and I feel like the best option is just education. So, I wouldn't say that the average person's incapable of writing, maybe not any sort of comp sci level stuff, but just definitely in the ability of what I would refer to as using the word coding, which kind of uses Richard Stallman's distinction. Coding is generally versus programming is he distinguishes the two based on, for example, a coder would be someone that would get a UML diagram from someone in a management position and would need to do this, and that for a website to work, and he would simply write out the stuff based on the documentation given to him with very little thought, just some very basic if statements, maybe some database queries, just very basic stuff, no actual planning, kind of just run of the routine, repetitive tasks. So, eh, but I feel like most people are definitely capable of that. So, anyways, though, Finian Quayle says, I think most tech is currently out of our control because of my proprietary. Well, I would agree with that. I'm kind of more afraid of a 1984 dystopia caused by the lack of privacy in the future than, I guess, technology in a general sense. iKixon says, would you prefer to use a new Android flagship phone that is not supported by a custom ROM and thus has a big privacy problem, or a new flagship iPhone and not have much freedoms? Well, I mean, I guess if I had to pick, I would go with Android. iPhones are like, I mean, their company or Apple has this kind of synergistic sort of well, they have their ecosystem. That's a better word for it than synergy. Synergy is generally two different product. I think it's just, does it have to be, is it product lines or companies? I don't know, but they have this ecosystem sort of thing set up, which is kind of designed to lock their users in on a marketing spectrum. So I don't really want to use any of the other Apple products, even if I was, kind of held at gunpoint and was like, you must use a iPhone flagship, it would, or a Android flagship without a custom ROM. I would lean towards the Android just because I could actually drag files to it. I have an SD card slot, maybe, and I have a headphone jack. I mean, that's enough to make a difference. So I'm essentially using the phone as an appliance. I mean, I mainly use it for taking photos occasionally, an MP3 player, and a phone. So occasionally a web browser if I'm feeling lazy, but most of the stuff I use is actually on my ThinkPad. So I was actually thinking about doing a video where I just use a Pentium 3 for a week, and it's my main system or my only system. So yeah, I would even make uploads on it. So I think my video editor can handle it. I'm not entirely sure, but I think with enough time, FFmpeg will, convert it to a format I can just use copy codec and it'll be just fine. Guitar Matt C says, we'll use FFmpeg to steal a RTMP URL. I'm going to have to look that up. And also, I imagine not understanding things at our level of exploitation of that person becomes exponentially easier over time. Well, yeah, I mean, I think you could teach someone basic computer skills. Doesn't have to be entirely difficult. I don't like how many layers of abstraction modern computing is behind, But if you think about it like this, a lot of people in the 80s were using command line interfaces on computers, and I imagine not all of them were super smart, and they had people making spreadsheets and things on CPM back in the day. So I imagine people are capable of actually understanding the hardware they're using. Um, so I would just like it if everything didn't have to be under some toddler style UI. So I actually feel like those are harder to use on a proficient or basis, where you actually understand everything about it than something that is command line based. Michael says Finian Quail. I agree, and we are currently pawns in the game. Okay. Uh, Guitar Matt C says, you and I probably don't know ARM assembly very well. We're easily tricked into using a CPU that has an exploit in it. Yeah, should probably learn ARM assembly. Wouldn't be a useless skill. I feel like ARM processors are going to become progressive or um, pretty much more common in the future. I wouldn't say x86 is necessarily completely dead in the water, but I would say it's much more common that ARM processors are going to be used. And ARM systems that use ARM processors tend to have a higher degree of being locked down than the conventional system. But I don't necessarily feel like you need to learn assembly for that. Um, I know how to program C, and someone that would know how to program ARM assembly, I imagine GCC, you could compile ARM code for it, and someone would be there to review DCC. I mean, yeah, I mean, they have cross-compiling stuff for core boot, so it's definitely there. So just know how to program C. I mean, maybe not ARM assembly. Hell, there's even a Z80 C compiler. You could write your own Z80 code if you wanted. Matt Smith, have you tried Genome plus Paper WM? I don't know what Paper WM is, and I kind of left Genome with Genome 2 in terms of the DE. But yeah, I don't really know much about that. I'm sorry, Matthew Smith. Guitar Matt C says, no tapping or an STA into an intentionally wrong action equals us being tricked. Oh, Base says, you are back. Yes, I am. Chromium issue or internet. My internet's kind of shoddy here. So one of the two. And I would also agree with Guitar Matt that the abstraction is what I'm scared of. Says the latest Fedora release containerizes the desktop environment, and you have to understand hypervisors to use it. Well, I don't use Fedora or a desktop environment, so I think I'm safe on that. But yeah, also, if you're wondering about the mispronunciation and reading issues, the text is very small, so I'm far away from the screen. There's like quite a bit of distance between me and the laptop, so I have to like lean up forward if you're just joining the stream now. Um, Matthew Smith says no, a hypervisor is something else. Well, a hypervisor, from my knowledge, is like a kind of just a way to run like a bunch of virtual machines on a single platform, isn't it? Or a single piece of hardware. Um, So I don't know anything about the Fedora situation. I don't know a lot about containers, so um, I will kind of just avoid that argument. How's the new lab coming along? Well, I mean, it works. Uh, I'm gonna be selling some more computers in a bit, and hopefully getting a small apartment, probably with a roommate. If you're in the Austin area. Um, but anyways, Jumper149 says Arc will only become more popular with keeping it simple, stupid in comparison to Ubuntu, Fedora, etc. Um, yeah, I would probably say so. At least among people that are actual enthusiasts and care a little bit more about just having a computer that opens a web browser. But yeah, Debian's kind of in the same way. Codexem, you'll find a radically different usage of the term from Microsoft. Oh, it's about the hypervisor thing, I believe. On the correct me if I'm. Oh, wait, sorry. Uh, Comet scrolled by. End up reading two. Okay, Codexum says, "Why is Ubuntu the greatest distro of all time?" Well, it isn't the greatest distro of all time. It's based off Debian, so why not just use Debian? You don't have privacy issues. Um, you have an easy to use installer. They ship non-free firmware versions. You should know how to edit a apt file anyways if you're using anything in the Debian based distributions. So with all those reasons, why not just use Debian instead of Ubuntu? Um okay. Jumper149 says the only good distro that wraps a lot of stuff around the usual Linux ecosystem is Nix OS IMO. Declarative programming is the future. Yeah, I haven't used NixOS, so I don't really, I can't really comment on the people doing the flame warring about the best distribution, but uh, yeah. Codex Sims is just install i3 on Ubuntu, and it's literally the same thing as Debian, but without the autism. What is autistic about Debian? Can you explain that, Codex Sim? Because to install i3 kind of well on Debian is literally the same process and probably a little bit simpler because it isn't shipped with a um what are those things called, login manager, trying to figure out if that's the correct term, but and is actually ran by a group of people who actually care somewhat about your freedom and don't believe in selling data. I think they I don't know if Ubuntu still does that, but I mean, they are a company, a for-profit company that has to turn a profit. So, which doesn't mean that a for-profit company can make good software, but their actions of selling data as a way to monetize Ubuntu would kind of make me not want to use Ubuntu. Um, Things like Red Hat have been around for a long time, and providing service to their software is a financially profitable model for free software companies. But Codexum says Wi-Fi drivers on Debian is a pain in the ass. I haven't had that issue. I really haven't. Um, it's not just, and I use like IWL Wi-Fi, but okay, you will, if you're doing a network install, you will need an Ethernet cord. That's about it. You'll need the Ethernet cord, and you'll have to change something in the apt sources list to get your Wi-Fi working. Yeah, sure. Debian needs to work on their non-free uh, package, but I don't really think they put a lot of emphasis on that personally because but just get the like normal net installation image of Debian and install it even if it is having networking issues and your computer doesn't have an Ethernet card for some reason. You can download the deb file of the driver and run dpkg/I and install the deb file of the Wi-Fi driver. I mean, it's one extra step. It's not exactly the most complicated thing. And I guess, though, then you'd have to deal with Wi-Fi configs and things like that. But another thing you could do is, hey, why are you using computers without Ethernet? I haven't had it any. I do a lot of modern laptops ship without Ethernet jacks, or because it's just really sad if they do. I don't know what the Debian lead developers' political views are on Israel. Um, I'm responding to Tarmat. Jumper 149. Okay, that isn't addressed for me. Vuvo Bud. Ubuntu Studio for me has some programs that just work out of the box that make it preferable to Debian. Well, then use Ubuntu Studio. I mean, you can install the programs on Debian, but I mean, I'm a little bit of a. I mean, it's what I use, and I haven't had any issues with it. I'm not going to make someone change their entire setup. It was just based off my personal preference, but I would prefer to use Debian. I actually haven't used the Ubuntu Studio. Is that the one with all the graphical applications pre-installed? Um, I honestly don't remember. A long time since I used Ubuntu. Codexum says what you're saying is what makes Debian autism. Well, one complaint I have with Ubuntu is why. Okay, you know what? I'm just end this into the. Yeah, I will say agree with Michael Rules. Debian is good for servers. I do run it on my servers. Oh, it has music and stuff. Okay, well that's kind of cool. Uh, yeah, I would agree with Michael Ruiz. You can install any distribution or anything for what you need for a distribution. And I don't really like Ubuntu based off, I can't remember the company name at the moment, but I don't know. I kind of feel like changing topics. It's been like 5 minutes on Ubuntu versus Debian, which is a very relatively small interest group on that, and it seems to be going in circles. So, Doobie Doo says, "Do you work in software or hardware?" Well, right now I just sell computers online, so that would be hardware. But then I guess I also compile core boot ROMs sometimes. Well, I'm trying to do X220s, but I'm trying to make a decent looking core boot ROM, and for some reason, I want one that's equivalent to kind of like Skulls for the X230, where it uses the native it uses the native like VGA BIOS blob thing, so it can actually post Windows. But yeah, I actually don't run Windows on any of my systems, but I figure that might be a selling point. Codexem says, "Is Luke Smith dead?" I don't think he died in the woods. I don't think he was living completely off grid. So unless he decided to go full Ted Kaczynski or decided to do a Into the Wild thing where he hitchhiked into Alaska during the winter. I'm pretty sure he's still around. Canonical. Yeah, that's the company. Thank you, base. Alexander Gonzer, what was the first device you Libre booted? AX60. Very software flashable. It was, I think if you look at one of my old videos, you can actually do it in about 15 minutes. So if you don't count changing out the Wi-Fi card, but Matthew Smith says first African in space. I don't know who the first African in space was. Or do you mean the nationality or like or African American or have there been any African countries that were spacefaring? I'm not quite. Okay, well, whatever. Base says no problem. Okay, well, yeah, thanks again. Sorry, that was kind of awkward. Guitar Matt C. Do you still give money to Luke Smith on my Patreon? Well, actually, my Patreon, since I think Guitar Matt was giving me the $25 thing, and since that dropped, I only have two other people giving me $1 each. So no, the $2 a month goes directly to me, I guess. So yeah, no. Matthew Smith, I don't know. The canonical guys, Mark, I don't know his full name. Guitar Matt C. Oh, are you referring to the owner of Facebook? Or I don't know who Mark. I don't really pay attention to Ubuntu, so. Oh, you're saying they took the money and it was a month later. So yeah, I guess Patreon. Yeah, I never got any of that for like I think this month or whatever on Patreon. It's not like a big deal. I mean, I've been selling like I've been trying to get some monetization instead of through I guess typical means of where people would actually just sell kind of like through sponsors and doing things like Patreon. For one, I've don't really have enough subscribers. The only sponsor that I was briefly considering was there's some Chinese PCB board manufacturer, and I was thinking about having them manufacture ThinkPad keyboard to PS or not PS2, but USB adapter for me. And if they'd actually did it, I was going to do a review on it. But that's the other sponsor I had a long time ago. That I mean, I've never actually gotten any money or done any sponsored videos from these people, but that have actually contacted me was some company that sells American goods in Europe, which might not be a bad option, but I don't know anything about the situation. I would not know how to even review something like that. And so I'm not putting hardwired ad space into my videos for a probably very small amount of money since I only have like 3,000 subscribers. And I was thinking instead of monetization like that, I was just going to sell ThinkPads because it's delivering a product. It's kind of in line with my channel and it's what I'm doing anyways. So yeah, it's about it. I don't know Todexum. I do not know what the learn to code meme is. I actually don't. Mark Shuttleworth was apparently the Ubuntu person from earlier. Yeah, I would love a ThinkPad to USB keyboard as well, Alexander Gonzer. Mainly because the X200 motherboard doesn't take up a lot of space, and I prefer the X60 keyboard. And I could probably find a smaller 1440 by 900 panel and just have like an X200S Mini. It'd be so nice. Like, I would love to have one of those. They do make ThinkPad to USB or ThinkPad USB keyboards, but I don't think you can just plug whatever into them. Um, Maybe I should buy one and tear it down and see what's actually inside of it. Jumper 149. I mean, here, give me a second. See if one of them's in reach. Make it a little bit easier to explain. Okay, give me a second. I have to get up. I'll be right back. Mark 149. Okay, back. So this is a keyboard from the X201. It uses this tiny connector on the back. They sell this connector on Ali. I think I probably shouldn't hold it like this. I don't want to tear the thing, but they sell this connector on AliExpress still and Alibaba. So someone in the past has made a ThinkPad to USB adapter with that, with his own custom board and an AT Tiny. And they used that connector that's on the X201 from pretty much every ThinkPad keyboard from the X60 and T60 up until the T420 and X220 sort of generation. So that means that with that and a little MPCIe to USB adapter, you might be able to do some ThinkPad keyboard mods and some more modern hardware. For example, maybe I could switch over to some sort of ARM-based system and not have to deal with Spectre and Meltdown mitigations. Or maybe I could just go full, on the Spectrum and make some sort of weird Ultra Spark laptop. So, Guitar Matt C says, "Will you ever have short hair again?" Probably not. I did cut my hair; it's gotten shorter, but I like having my long hair. I, Here, that just sounds weird. I don't know. Whatever. I kind of feel like those are kind of a joke, but okay. What Codexum says the learn to code meme means you devote your life to coding instead of following the boomer lifestyle of being free and based. I don't program 24/7. I am on the computer about like 12 hours a day or working on computer hardware. But I mean, I like doing it. I've been programming since I was in like fourth grade. Probably maybe earlier. I don't really remember. So it's just kind of what I do. I never had to learn to code. I'm not devoting my life to just programming. I actually think also knowledge of hardware and programming and things like that is a very useful skill. So, um, what would you the boomer lifestyle of being free and based be? Like, I mean, I'm free. I could get up and go outside, and I I just got my motorcycle's carburetor cleaned, but it's still in College Station. I'm gonna pick it up in a few days. I don't have Harley because I'm not. Well, I actually care about how my motorcycle performs, and I prefer going off road. So I have a DR650, big single cylinder, goes 100 miles an hour, quite fun. Um, have it geared down a little bit, very quick 0 to 60 time. It's like 4 something seconds. You can like shift really quickly on that thing. And man, it is like it's pretty fun. Go down staircases, go up staircases, drive through places you're not supposed to drive, pretty much go off road anytime you want. You can go hop curbs at 45 miles an hour. It is amazing. But yeah, I mean, I have other interests than programming. But I would not want to be a motorcycle mechanic, even though I can do small engine repair. I guess I got that up on Luke Smith. But um, I don't know. That was a horrible tangent. But I do really like my motorcycle. I'm gonna clean it up. Oh, Doobie Doo says, "Where is your lawnmower and monster?" Well, I have a Whataburger cup, and I do not own a lawnmower. Guitar Matt Cease asks, "Are you touring the UK on my motorcycle?" Probably not. I've actually looked at a few documentaries of people that do world touring. They have actually done it on the motorcycle I own. The DR650 is a KLR 650 would probably be a better option. But what I was going to say though is most of the time they actually buy the bike in that area instead of shipping the bike overseas just because it's cheaper. So unless I was gonna drive my motorcycle up to like Alaska or something, that'd be. And also, motorcycles are fun, but if you ever drive them for like 3 hours or more, it, I mean, maybe it's a little bit more bearable if it isn't like a super high up dual sport bike with the like stock seat that hasn't. It's kind of messed up. It would be a little bit more comfortable, but it makes your butt kind of hurt. I mean, and your back also kind of hurts because of the wind. It's just not comfortable for world traveling like that. I would have to outfit it with quite a lot of stuff and probably save up $2,000 to $3,000 at minimum just to do some touring on that bike. Koshish Sunuar says scooter is fun. I would actually agree with that. I haven't really. I've driven a few scooters. I've never owned one. I haven't owned a moped, but I've put together one of those bicycle engine kits before when I didn't have a motorcycle license, so I was like 14, and it was really fun when I was 14. I mean, that's pretty much a scooter, right? I have a little 66cc two-stroke that only goes 25 miles an hour and makes you smell like two-stroke and gasoline fumes all the time. But um, Nemo Garcia, if you have unlimited money, what ThinkPad would you buy and why? I would probably just buy a bunch of them. Not gonna lie, I would just start hoarding them, like one of each model, make like a ThinkPad museum. But if I had to only get one, I've been wanting to do a cheater W701DS. But actually, if I had infinite money, I could probably just pay someone to port like LibreBoot or CoreBoot over to that. Just pour like millions and millions of dollars into CoreBoot and LibreBoot. Or actually, maybe just a CoreBoot project. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Then just. Well, actually, I don't know. I probably would just start my own laptop company and use not outdated hardware that respected your freedom. If I had infinite money, instead of using a ThinkPad, I would probably hire like some industrial design firm to make a mechanical keyboard that matches the ThinkPad layout, and then buy the patents on that so I couldn't get sued for copyright infringement. Hell, why not just buy IBM at that point with infinite money? Start making power PC laptops with IBM power chips. But anyways, no guitar map C, never the butterfly keyboard key switches. Those things are terrible. I've never owned any system with the one, but I've typed on one of. Oh, you're talking about the. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're not talking about the butterfly switches in MacBooks. You're talking about. Oh, it's a 486. God, it's been a while since I've seen that model. But there's a ThinkPad with something they refer to as a butterfly keyboard, which has the keyboard kind of slides up like this when it's closed for a 4:3 aspect ratio. And then when you open it, it slides down and greets in the middle. But those aren't that expensive relatively in terms of like rare collectibles. I mean, oh, Codex Sims says, what's better, T60 or X200? I prefer the X200S, I guess. I do have a T60. T60 with a 1450 by 1050 or 1400 by 1050 display is quite nice, but the RAM limitations on the chipset make it a little bit worse, in my opinion. Geronimo Garcia says, "Oh, nice man, thanks." Guitar Matt C says, "What's better than a ThinkPad?" Well, I mean, I imagine if I had infinite money and I could hire the right people, maybe I could probably make something better, at least more modern, because ThinkPad design kind of got quite a bit worse when it was started being owned by Lenovo. So, would you call the trip top or the code book? I would probably. I have infinite money. I might as well just buy the ThinkPad brand back. Start making. We'll call them like proper ThinkPads or something. Trip pad. I don't know. Trip top. Okay, I like the hypothetical of having infinite money. Maybe I should um, start buying lotto tickets every day, like a certain R9K user. I should have mentioned. um, Titled, "What phone do you have, and what phone do you run, or what do you run on it?" Okay. Um, so I bought a recently. The phone I own is a Galaxy Nexus. Uh, I think it's the one made by Samsung. I bought it originally to put Replicant on it, and I found out Replicant support for it, even though it's the exact model, just didn't work for some reason. Like, it just refused to, it wouldn't hang on the Replicant logo forever. So I just decided to go with Lineage OS, which just worked fine. So that's what I run on it. I've been meaning to get an Galaxy S3 and try Replicant again, but yeah, I don't know. I don't enjoy doing Android flashing. It's not very fun. It's just okay. Let's install the proper tools, put the phone in developer mode. We'll just wait a bit. Oh, let's look for this weird custom ROM from like 5 years ago. Oh, we need this version of Clockwork Mod. Okay, let's install it. I mean, I just don't have an interest in it. I mean, like, um, I know how some people can enjoy doing stuff like that, but it's not. It still feels very locked down for me. Kushi Suniwar says Sailfish OS. Um, I have thought about putting it on there, but it doesn't support the rear camera. I guess Replicant doesn't as well, but Replicant didn't even work to begin with on that model, which is weird. So I bought the one with the like right model numbers and stuff. I know it was the Lineage OS version for the exact same model works fine, So, Sailfish OS support was kind of not officially supported on the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit laggy actually. So I think you'd have to get an S3 or a Note 2 out of the replicant devices for it to be a pleasant device. Will you be buying the Librem 5? And what do you think about Purism? Probably won't be buying the Librem 5 because I don't. How much does it cost? If anyone knows, I imagine it's like $400 or $500. Maybe, I don't know. What do I think about Purism? Also from Untitled. Oh, I heard they ship core boot with their laptops, and they're. I don't know. Do all of them have the Intel ME disabled? I know some of them do, and I think. I mean, it's a good idea. I wish they put a proper keyboard on it. uh, Sorry, had to say that. But yeah, they're also a little bit pricey. At least compared to the stuff I like. Like, I don't like paying more than $200 for a laptop, including the upgrade. So it's a little bit out of my price range. 700 for the Librem phones. Oh my god. Well, I guess I'm not buying one. Not paying $700 for a phone. It's just a little bit pricey. The only way I'd consider that is if I could use it as my like singular device for everything. I mean, but then again, I'd probably have to still carry around a keyboard and a screen, so that's probably not an option. Um, Guitar Mat C says custom ROM. Did I say it was read only? I don't believe I did. I just said it was locked down. And a lot of like Android devices are very locked down. I mean, when you get them, you can't even put a properly working ad blocker on them, and you're locked in. You have to. I mean, you can install different APKs. So, like, I typically put F-Droid on them right off the bat, but is Nokia's Symbian OS dead? I don't know. Koshi Suniwar. Uh, Guitar Mat C says, "Why is it black magic to manipulate your Android device? Nothing is documented, even though it runs similar hardware to an ARM socket." Um, I mean, I just said I don't have much of an interest in it. I thought it was. I mean, it's Android for one is like Java based. I don't like programming Java. What is the parallax propeller? Okay, so the parallax propeller is a microcontroller designed to perform multiple tasks simultaneously with the out the need for interrupts or the dictates of an onboard operating system. Hmm. Oh, it's just a nice little microcontroller. Oh, design files are released under the open source GPL3 license. It's actually pretty cool. I've been meaning to try to get into microcontrollers. I actually have a bunch of old Freescale stuff in the back, but I'm not quite sure there's an NDA. They're like demo and prototype boards of unreleased products. So, but also Freescale is no longer existent. It got bought by NXP. So, but also the stuff's pretty outdated. So, Guitar Maxis. Oh. Oh, okay. He's not criticizing me for what I'm saying. He's asking why Android systems are so locked down. I don't know. I think it's probably due to companies that like it's well, actually, I don't know because Android's licensed. That doesn't make sense. It would make sense for Apple products to be really locked down, but um, Mr. Bonk 500. Yeah, I just read that GPL3 licensed, 100% free. It's pretty cool. Codex MS. What's my favorite video game? Probably Gary's Mod. Don't really play it that much anymore. In fact, I don't really play that many video games anymore. I really liked building things with Wire Mod and Gary's Mod. If you don't know what that was, it was kind of like you get to put like little adder circuits and very basic digital logic stuff. And then you get to make things that like teleport to people and explode using that. And I really liked doing that as a kid. It's quite fun. Make something on a server that kind of just, or like you like, or you can also even like mess with the Lua code and make your own little add-ons. That was fun too. There's also the fun ability of just, I mean, I guess I don't, I haven't done this since I was probably in middle school, but if any of you do own a copy of Gary's mod, and I mean, it does run on Linux. I just don't have it installed or anything because I don't have Steam installed. But you can just go to your favorite build server and oh, they removed Easy Weld. I forgot about that. I forgot they removed Easy Weld. You used to make these things that were like impossible within the physics engine and would try to auto-correct itself. I forgot what the actual terminology for that was, but since they were impossible to exist within the said physics engine, it would just kind of keep trying to, it would eventually just lag the server out and sometimes even crash it, and that was pretty fun. I've never played Roblox. Zero. Okay, Mr. Blanc 500 is the Zero Cat chip flasher. Uses the parallax propeller. Let me look up the Zero Cat chip flasher. I've been looking for something more convenient than the Raspberry Pi. Swap on or swap off? Wait, you mean like the Linux swap file? Gerani. No, oh, Geronimo Garcia, the one. I always have a swap file, but I set it to like 90. I set the swappiness to like 95%. I think, yeah, I think it's 95. It's either 95 or 5, 9, or 10 or 90 or something. Pretty much, I just have like a really high swappiness. So like that means that the computer won't use the swap file until it uses most of the RAM. So this will prevent it from wearing out an SSD early by just using the swap file if you're using a really low capacity SSD or like a used one or something like that. Or you can also, and at the same time, it won't crash when you run out of memory. I'm gonna search for Zero Cat chip flasher. I should contact the Chinese company and ask if they're still interested. How much are they asking, though, before I clone their product? Looks very nice, actually. Oh, man. I don't know. Be a little bit more expensive. Sorry, I guess you guys can't see the photos I'm looking through on the live stream, so I should probably get back to this. But thanks, Mr. Bunk500, for showing me the Zero Cat chip flasher. It's actually quite interesting, and probably pretty useful. The parallax propeller is $8 for the dip version. I'll check that out if I look at microcontrollers in the future. But right now, I'm kind of just focusing on um, probably videos are gonna be well. First, today my plan is wait till around 10 so I can get a solid state drive that complete isn't like a fatty Dove 240 gigabyte, and buy one of those, put an X200 on my site for sale, and then after that, I'm gonna be putting together two X201s and then just selling those on Let Go. The workmanship on that's not going to be exactly the best, but I'm putting them on Let Go, so there's no brand name attached to it. So I'm okay with that, and they're probably going to be bought by normal people, which are just going to be happy they have something that runs Windows 10 with 4 gigs of RAM that they bought for like $60 or $70. And then after that, if I have any time left, I'm probably gonna work on installing Temple OS on something. I have a 640 by 480 monitor, so it'd be pretty cool if I could actually make like a desktop sort of setup with it. But if not, I've seen people run it off the T60, and I have one of those. Um, okay. Mr. Bonk 500 says the parallax propeller has 8 cores. It's pretty neat. Untitled says, what do you do besides your YouTube channel? Well, I was previously doing university for a while, and I'm taking a little break from it. But yeah, I decided that I'm gonna try to sell computers online. See how that goes. Because I think I need like $700 or $800 a month to not live at my parents' house, which I think is doable from that. And then I have a lot of free time, and I'm probably gonna do a community college semester just to get some like of the kind of random credits you have to get out of the way. Like I'm missing like I think one political science course and communications, oddly. Jumper149 says, do you think it's possible to run Temple OS as a BIOS payload from Coreboot? Um, uh, well, so the I think it is possible, but there's quite a bit of work you would have to do. So for example, I mean, it's like it compiles a compiler, right? On Holy C, and then compiles the operating system. But you'd have to. And another thing is, it's a 16 megabyte operating system, and most of the flash chips are like 8 megs. So, but you can't actually desolder the flash chip and solder in a larger one. But you'd have to figure out some way to interface it between the two. But if it's impossible to load it off like C BIOS, I don't really see why not. Tarmat C says, I literally wish I was there with you to install Temple OS. Well, I mean, it would be kind of nice for some help to install it, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult. I could be wrong though, and be spending like the entire day tomorrow installing Temple OS. But what functionality would I have to add, Guitar Map C? Mr. Bonk 500 says, time to make Holy C compiler for GNU/Linux. That'd be quite a task. Oh God, I'll end up continuing Terry's legacy. Uh, I haven't received any messages from God, so Duffman says, "Is Luke dead?" Okay, that's the second "is Luke dead" comment. Like, has he not uploaded a video in a while or something? I don't think he's dead. Like, he might be busy. Yeah, I heard he was gonna work on his farm, but I don't think he okay, I don't some I got an "is I'm dead" thing, like, a few times, but most of the time the people aren't dead, even if I don't upload for, like, 2 weeks or even a month. I think I actually got an email asking if I was dead when I didn't make an upload for, like, a month a long time ago. Yeah. Joseph J, yes, God spoke through Terry. Not quite sure the 640 by 480 and 16 color thing though. But I do have a monitor that's 640 by 480, so I think it'll look quite good on that if I can actually get it running on real hardware. But I'll have to look for some sort of motherboard that's 64-bit and relatively simple. I mean, I guess people have had luck with the Core 2 Duo platform, so I might use one of those. Um, Guitar Mat C says you would need to add support for more hardware for the majority of cases, specifically SATA and USB. Yeah, yeah, I think I read someone's post about installing it, saying that IDE hard drives were preferable. But I have plenty of those, so. Duffman says, "What browser do you use?" I unfortunately use Chromium. I'm sorry, I guess, but I make YouTube videos, and previously I have a lot of the university stuff used like Google Docs for projects and stuff. So I figured Chromium was, I guess, decent enough in terms of. I mean, it's not the freest browser there, but it's at least compatible with Google services pretty well. I'm probably going to switch browsers eventually, but at the moment I'm being lazy. Guitar Mat C, uh, he has a page on his site explaining why he doesn't support PCIe or USB or other things, so you can't install anything that doesn't either emulate/convert to PS2 or IDE, or has IDE/PS2 for real. Oh, hmm. I'm trying to think if I have like a socket, like if I have like, do they have 64-bit, like, and some sort of like Athlon 64 board with IDE? Uh, Guitar Mat C, amazingly, it's literal only a requirement it actually runs. You never made it run for any real hardware, but it runs despite the fact it was all made for a virtual machine target. Duffman says I'm a Ramon. Uh, I can be like cousin it now, or I don't know. Socket 939, Athlon 64. I have a fair bit of motherboards. I'm just gonna look through them for one that has PS2 and IDE on it. That is not a like Pentium 3 or Pentium 4 or something. So then plug it into my IBM 640 by 480 VGA monitor. Not quite sure the model number. Eight core, 16 threads. Opterons for Temple OS. Huh. Yeah, that might be a bit overkill. Just most of my ThinkPads are either like 32-bit or have SATA. But I've seen it run off a T60, but I'm not quite sure if he was just using the CD drive. So 32 thread Temple OS. Let me check the time here because okay, I'm probably gonna end the stream soon because I actually have to. I mean, like I have to work on the ThinkPad I was gonna sell, and unfortunately, the only place I can buy this 240 gigabyte SSD that's nearby for a cheap price right now is Best Buy. It's gonna be a PNY SSD. And yeah, so they open at 10. So it's 9:49 down here at Texas. So last questions, I guess. There's also Shrine OS, which is a fork of Temple OS with some niceties added. You should try that on real hardware. Nobody has done it yet. I might try that too, but I'm just gonna do Temple OS probably because tomorrow is Terry A. Davis Memorial Day. So anyways, install Temple OS on a core booted Asus KGP ED16. Oh my god. I might have. I don't think I have the D16. I think I have the D8 board, but I bought it from. I got a dead board. It was actually for my. I was going to do a LibreBoot server build. I even bought 64 gigs of RAM for the thing. But that's a project that's on hold. What is your favorite program which you use? Trying to think. I'm trying to think of something like. I mean, I could just say like something generic, like I like using. Trying to think. Favorite program. So, I mean, a lot of programs have like a purpose. I mean, GCC. I mean, I like writing C programs and C++, and I use it. I honestly do that for fun sometimes. So, and without that compiler, I'd be severely limited. So, I guess that would be my favorite program. um, Shrine OS adds networking support, so the CIA gamers can watch. Okay. Um, well, that'd actually be kind of interesting. I might look at some. I might try to write FizzBuzz on Holy C. It's probably not that bad to write FizzBuzz in any language, so I could probably figure that out. It'd be kind of interesting to write a web server. I am only like hosting static HTML on my website, so rather than like the small amount of like JavaScript that PayPal requires. But it'd be interesting to see if you could get like a Temple OS server. Oh man. Good Harmat C says, I love Bash personally. Oh, wait. Forgot to mention to whoever that was running Debian and was doing systemd analyze to improve their boot time on a hard drive. If you replace Bash with Dash just for the booting up processes, it like shaves off like a decent amount of time. It's not like a huge amount, but it's like not quite a second, but it does something. It speeds it up. I can't remember how much it does. So that's an optimization you can do if you care a lot about your boot time. Okay. Is Minix 3 usable on a ThinkPad for daily tasks? Um, well, I mean, if you don't have a Weeb rebooted system and you're running or like or don't have ME cleaner, you're running Minix. So, but I've actually never used Minix. But it would be kind of interesting to mess around with. So maybe at some point. I don't know what the driver situation is for Minix, so my guess it would be quite difficult, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. Anyways, though, you guys got 1 minute, and then after that, I'm gonna go buy a solid state drive and actually do something slightly more. Well, actually, I don't know. This is pretty fun. I'm not quite sure it's exactly productive. Minix is. Oh, I mean, I already said that. Guitar mat. Also, guitar mat. No one can carry on Terry Davis's legacy. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess since there's no new questions now, I hope everyone had a good live stream. Sorry about the weird break in the middle, and I will be careful about the glow in the dark gamers. But have a good one, and I guess I'll try to upload the video tomorrow. Worst case, it'll be on the 12th, but I'll be working on it tomorrow. So, peace. Bye.